When is an act of violence terrorism, and when is it just a standard criminal offense? Well, the word terrorism comes to us from the French Revolution, when the government executed tens of thousands of people who were seen as dissenters. It was, of course, known as the Reign of Terror. Nowadays, we don't really apply terrorism to governments as much. We think of groups like ISIS or Al-Qaeda, and more recently, the so-called lone wolves who aren't part of any organization, but they still commit acts of political violence. So, who's a terrorist and who's not? The Criminal Code of Canada gives us the following. Terrorism is an act committed for a political, religious, or ideological purpose, done with the intention of intimidating the public or trying to influence government actions through violence. Michael Zehaf-Bibeau, the shooter who went on a murderous rampage in Ottawa last October, left a video manifesto in which he plainly said he was trying to instill fear in the public through his violence.
Just aiming to hit some soldiers just to show you that you're not even safe in your own land, so you got to be careful.
That seems like a straightforward example of terrorism, but not all acts of violence immediately get that label. After a Valentine's Day plot was foiled in Halifax this year, in which the suspects allegedly wanted to commit mass murder by shooting up a shopping mall, Justice Minister Peter MacKay characterized them as murderous misfits, not terrorists. We seem to get into these debates every time there's a heinous act of violence, and the definition has almost become political. With the federal government considering a new anti-terrorism bill, C-51, some critics say that definition is being watered down more than ever to include even peaceful protests by First Nations or environmental groups. As they say, one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist. For the National Post, I'm Ishmael Daro.